Okay, so I've returned the computer board back to the machine with the Key 28 chip installed, turned it on, and it brings up this menu. You're going to want to do the steps I'm about to show. All you do is you touch the screen, the top red bar, and it opens up another one. It says clear all RAM, touch that. And it'll ask you, do you want to clear all RAM? Touch yes. It completes the operation, and now you want to move down to the green bar, touch the green bar. It'll ask you, do you want to clear the motherboard E2? Touch that bar, and then touch yes. Okay, it completed that operation, and the last thing you want to do is touch the purple bar. Do you want to apply the key chip? Touch yes. And then you're done. Turn your machine off, take the board out, and replace the Key 28 chip with your original boot chip, and then return the board to your machine and turn it on. I'm going to break the video here and I'll pick up at that point. Okay, at this point I have replaced the key chip on my board with the boot chip. I put the board back in the machine and I turned it on. The first thing you're going to see is this blue window that comes up that says starting up, please wait. And we're going to basically wait a minute or two to get the first error message. So I'm going to break my camera or stop it for a moment until we get the first message, and then I'll come back on. Okay, here's our first message that came up, which is a typical message that you get when we change games. It just says Game King signature mismatch, and so just go ahead and follow the directions. It says turn the attendant key one time, so that would be your jackpot key on the right side of the machine. I'm going to turn it one time, and then you can see it will continue to boot at this point. And likely the next message we will get will say RAM error. So I'm going to break the camera here until we get to that message. Okay, we got our first error. It's a RAM error. Turn the attendant key just like it says there. Okay, so I just turned the jackpot key to clear that error. It brings up this menu. And then the next step is actually to turn the key again. And once I turn it, you can see it brings up this message to press and hold the test switch. The test switch is the little tiny white button on the front of the board. So find that button, push in on it, and hold it for a full 3 seconds. And then after I release it, you can see it'll continue to boot to the next error, which is EEPROM error. So follow the directions, turn the attendant key or your jackpot key again. After I turn the key, it clears that error and it brings us to a menu. And again, to get past this step, you can read at the bottom there, it says turn the attendant key to update the EEPROM, which is what we want to do. So I just turned the key, and you can see it's going to continue to boot. The next step is going to take us to the key chip menu. So it's at this point that you'll actually start to set up your game. I'm going to try to zoom in here a little bit. Okay, so you can see one of the buttons up here says setup, so that's the one you want to touch. And after you touch that, it brings up more buttons. You want to first touch the one that says machine options, which brings up more buttons. The first one you want to touch is the one that says denom setup. Once you bring that up, it brings up a menu, and there's a message in the middle that says a valid accounting denom must be selected. All you do is touch OK. And then the first thing you want to do is, in this grid of denominations below here, touch the one that says 1 cent. It'll bring up a message. Just touch OK. And now you can see it's filled in over here. Your accounting denomination is 1 cent. Now, to the left here, there's a blue grid, and highlighted in green, it says default 1 cent. I just want you to touch anywhere in the middle of this blue grid, and you can see it highlights yellow. And now to the right, you can pick all the denominations that you want to play in your game, if it's multi-denominational, which most of them are. So already we have 1 cent. I want to play 2 cents, 5 cents, 10 cents, 25 cents, and $1. And once that's done, I know these are the games I'm going to play, or the denominations, and when I'm done, I'm going to touch Save in the bottom right. So now it's saved, and now I'm going to touch Exit, which takes us back to the main menu. Now, looking down our list of buttons or options again, I'm going to pick Peripheral Devices Setup. So I pick that. It takes us to a new menu. Right now you can see the bill validator is enabled, which you want. Right now the printer, it says thermal printer, is disabled. If you want to, if you don't want to use your printer, just leave it alone and leave it disabled. If you do want to use your printer, then touch where it says disabled and it'll highlight green. And then assuming that your machine does not have a hopper and does not have coins, we want to disable these 2 devices. So next to hopper, where it now says enabled, touch that so it's now disabled, and next to coin acceptor, touch the enabled so it's now disabled. And that's it. We're done with this page. Touch Save, and then exit back to the main menu. So now we're back to the main menu. The next button you want to touch is Limit. Right now the credit limit is really low, so just touch the box where it says 400. And it's going to bring up a numerical keypad. Make it the maximum possible, which is usually $100,000. When you're done with that, touch Done. And then next, where it says Acceptor, it now probably says $3,000. Touch that. It brings up the keypad again. Enter the maximum it will allow you to do, which is usually $100,000. Again, touch Done. And then finally, next to Jackpot, it will probably say 1,200 now. So instead, touch that. We want to change that to the maximum, which is 100,000. And then Done. Now touch Save in the bottom right, and then after that touch Exit back to the main menu. Okay, so after that there's really nothing else you need to do unless you enabled the printer. If you enabled the printer, the next thing you want to do is touch COM Options, and once you touch COM Options, it brings up a bunch of buttons to choose from. Pick the one that says Validation Redemption. It'll bring up this menu. Notice on the left it says Validation Settings, and under that it'll say No Validation. Just touch that bar and it brings up a list of options. You want to touch the one that says SAS Standard Validation. After you touch it, verify. Look in the window and make sure that's what it says. SAS Standard Validation. If it does, then you're done. Just touch Save and then Exit. And that's it. At this point you can touch Return to Game. It'll continue to boot up. The last thing it does, you'll probably hear the bill validator cycle. It brings up a window that says verify all options before putting the machine in play. So all you have to do is touch OK and then close your door. And once you've done that, it's ready to play. You can pick the denomination you want to play and it'll bring up the game.